We'll start in the AFC East. Obviously, a division, a lot of question marks. Is this finally the changing of the guard? Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay. New England brings in Cam Newton, but is this really the reign? Are we going to see the reign of Bill Belichick and the Patriots over the NFC East finally? And to me, this is the year I say yes. I'm picking the Buffalo Bills to win the AFC East. You look at the roster. Sean McDermott, the head coach in Buffalo, has done a great job, a phenomenal job of filling out the entire roster. A great defense. Solid offense. You added Stephon Diggs at wide receiver, which is, to me, a perfect complement to what you're trying to do for Josh Allen. Josh Allen likes to throw the ball deep. He's a massive arm. What is Josh Allen's biggest problem? What is his biggest area of concern? Accuracy. So you add Stephon Diggs, someone who's great at tracking the ball, someone who can go up and get the ball, even though he's not big. He's not a 6'5" receiver. When you throw the ball deep, he goes and gets it. So that's a perfect addition for what the Bills want to do. They return their entire offensive line, which, again, in 2020, you're going to see a theme here with all the division winners I pick and the playoff teams I think are going to come out this year. You're going to see one theme: continuity. To me, that's going to matter. You have no, or I should say, very limited offseason, no preseason games, a very truncated training camp. You're going to rely more this year than ever on familiarity, continuity, picking up where you left off last year. And to me, that's what I love with the Bills' offensive line returning. That's massive. I think Josh Allen will take a step this year. He improved from his rookie year to last year. I think he'll improve again from last year to this year. My question is, how big? How big is that leap going to be? If he makes a pretty decent leap, the Bills are going to be really good. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think he's going to be good enough to where the Bills will win the division. Again, their roster overall is really good. I have questions about New England. And for that reason, because they are the deepest roster, because they have continuity, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills, finally, for the first, or I guess, so the Patriots have won 17 out of 18 division titles. Not this year. Make that 17 out of 19. The Buffalo Bills, circle the wagons. The Bills are winning the AFCs. We'll go to the North. This one's easy. Baltimore Ravens. Right? I mean, honestly, you look at the AFC North, really everyone else is playing for second place here. Not only did they go 14-2 last year, not only do they return the reigning MVP of the league, they got better this offseason. It's hard to say for a team that won 12 straight games to finish out the regular season. They were so dynamic on offense, very solid on defense, but they got better this offseason. They traded for Calais Campbell, a monster inside. Honestly, one of the most underrated, unsung heroes on the defensive line in the NFL. I really am a big fan of their draft picks. I think Patrick Queen at linebacker will fit in nice. I love the J.K. Dobbins pick at running back. Just keep on plugging and playing great, phenomenal running backs into that run-heavy system. Speaking of which, as we know, right, not only is the NFL a copycat league, once the blueprint's out there, once the formula is out there on what you do, defensive coordinators and teams are quick to adjust, right? And you see it with the Wildcat. You see it even with the spread offense now and the mobile quarterbacks. The first team to kind of zig when everyone else is zagging, try something out of the box, and has success, it's tough for teams in season to adjust to slow it down. You have a full offseason full of tape. You have all offseason now on all of March, April, May, June, July for defensive coordinators bunkered down, especially this year with nothing really else to do, asking how can they figure out how can we slow down this Ravens offense. To me, this is still not going to happen this year. I don't believe this is the year where the Ravens all of a sudden get figured out, they get solved, and maybe they get exposed. No. They're going to pick up where they left off. I love how they keep the coaching staff, talking about continuity. Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator, who really built and designed this offense for Lamar Jackson. Returns, which I love. I think they're just going to keep on getting better. I think they'll add more wrinkles. I think it's not as easy to think to slow down this run-heavy, rush-heavy team of the Baltimore Ravens. I have a little concern about the durability of the wide receivers. All right, Marquise Brown struggled to stay on the field last year as a smaller wide receiver. Didn't get great production out of the wideout spot. But outside of that, I still have a lot of faith this Ravens team is going to be really, really, really good again. To me, that's why they're taking the AFC North. We'll go to the South. We talked a lot about the Texans. We really haven't talked really anything about the Colts. They signed Phillip Rivers. If you listen to the show back in March, as a Colts fan myself, not a fan of this signing at all, to be honest. I'm not a Phillip Rivers fan. I would have loved to see them stick with Jacoby Brissett. I thought they would have been a better team. With that said, I'm still picking the Colts to win the AFC South. I'm not expecting a lot from Phillip Rivers. I promise you I'm not. I didn't change all of a sudden now to now we're close to the season. I'm predicting a big year from Phillip Rivers. But you look at it, the best offensive line maybe he's ever had in his entire career. Great set of skill receivers, running backs, tight ends. one of the best he's had in his time. He's going to actually have a competent, talented offense around him. So you're not asking Philip Rivers to do a lot. In the last few years, you're asking really Philip Rivers to do a lot. Put the team on his back. Lead them. That's not going to happen. That's not going to be the case. Colts are going to try to run the ball a lot, run it down your throat, just punch you in the mouth. I think it takes a lot of pressure off Philip Rivers, and you're not asking him to be a lead at 38 years old. You're not. So coming off one of the worst years of his career, again, I'm still skeptical, but at least I like the fact that the Colts are going to ask little from Philip Rivers. Be aggressive, make some downfield throws for sure, but we don't need you to throw the ball 45 times a game for us to win. So I like the offense. I love the DeForest Buckner trade that they got from the 49ers this offseason, because you're going to have him going against that beleaguered Texans offensive line twice a year. Yes, please. I'll sign up for that all day. So similar to the Buffalo Bills, right, where I love their entire roster and have questions about their quarterback, that's exactly how I feel about the Colts. I love the way Chris Ballard has built this roster. The offense is very talented. They're getting depth, which is what they need at the skill positions, because last year they were just eviscerated and killed in December with injuries to the skill positions, especially at the wide receiver core. So you draft Michael Pittman, you pair him with T.Y. Hilton, you have Paris Campbell coming back. I really like what the Colts have done depth-wise. Defense, they continue to add resources to. The secondary last year was a major concern. That's also because they were very young. So you get another year of experience, which especially in secondary, you see players that go from year one to year two really make a big jump. So I think that's going to be a major success. And you look at the rest of the division. The Texans continue to make their team worse, not better. They continue to take weapons away from Deshaun Watson instead of adding them. So that's a concern. I think the Texans will take a step back this year. The Titans to me are tricky. They caught lightning in a bottle, I feel like, last year, right? They rode Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill got hot. But I don't trust Ryan Tannehill to be this great quarterback that he was last year. Their formula, to me, is predicated not on luck, but on some senses luck. They rode Derrick Henry in the first half, and they really hoped Ryan Tannehill made a few plays with his arm in the second half. I just don't think it's sustainable, because I don't think Ryan Tannehill is that good enough of a quarterback to do so. You saw in the playoffs, he really didn't have much of an impact. He really didn't play well. And when they needed him to play well, he couldn't. So you look at the Titans, you look at the Texans. None of those two teams scare me if I'm the Colts. And so that's why I'm taking them. Taking the best overall roster. And again, you're not asking Philip Rivers to do a lot, so that's why I'm rolling with the Indianapolis Colts to win the AFC South. AFC West, similar to the AFC North. It's the Chiefs, and it's no one else's division. All right, we're talking about a team similar to the Ravens that got better this offseason. They returned 18 of 22 starters from the Super Bowl, and they got better. They upgraded Damian Williams, who had a great Super Bowl. You upgrade from him to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, just the perfect fit. This Andy Reid-led offense out of the running back position. He's tough to tackle. He's great in the pass game. So you look at the talent they already have on the team, the talent they added. I mean, no one's in the same stratosphere in the AFC West. Really, seriously. The Raiders? No. The Broncos are a young and upcoming team. They are similar to the Cardinals in the NFC, where they have a lot of young talent, a lot of intrigue. They're nowhere close to contenders. And the Chargers are, I like the roster, but I don't really know if they're trying to rebuild, if they're trying to go for it this year. The Chargers really have no direction. So to me, the biggest question for the Chiefs this year, can Patrick Mahomes get back to his rookie or his first year as a starter, I should say, performance? I mean, he threw 50 touchdowns in his first year as a starter 2 years ago. And, battled a little bit of an injury last year, right? He had an ankle injury, dislocated kneecap. Could he get back? If he's fully healthy, could he surpass that 50 touchdown plateau? I think he absolutely could. He absolutely could. So the Chiefs, the Colts, the Ravens, the Bills, your AFC division winners. 3 wildcard teams this year. We'll go the Browns. I know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I bought into the Browns last year. I thought they were going to be a playoff team. Now, I didn't think they were going to be a Super Bowl team. I didn't think they were going to win the division. I thought they were going to be a playoff team, a wild card team. Obviously, they fell flat on their face. So here I am, another impressive offseason, another offseason of hype for Cleveland. So eventually, impressive offseasons have to just pile up, right? I like they got Jack Conklin on the offensive line, addressed one of their biggest weaknesses last year. They brought in a new head coach, which to me, Freddie Kitchens was one of the main reasons why a roster full of talent, especially on the offensive side, really struggled. Really struggled. You saw Baker Mayfield regress last year, to me in part because Freddie Kitchens didn't have him prepared to play well. They didn't put him in positions to succeed, which I think will be different. Bringing in Kevin Stefanski from Minnesota, I like that head coaching hire. So you think about it. If we're just talking worst case here, it's really hard. You can't be any worse than Freddie Kitchens. You really can't. In terms of unpreparedness, in terms of just lack of offensive flair. So I'm buying into that the offense will be better. And I think Baker Mayfield will have a bounce back year because of it. I think he'll look more like his rookie year. So I'm buying into Baker. I'm buying into the Browns. They're a wild card team. A team that the more I think about it, the more I like, but I still have major reservations about it, and that's the Steelers. Similar to the Colts, similar to the Bills, I really like their roster, especially their defense. I really like their defense a lot. But I have a lot of questions about Big Ben. Now, really, what won me over is that you look at the Steelers last year, right? Big Ben played a game and a half, hurt his elbow out for the year. So you had Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges kind of flip-flop back and forth all last year. They started 14 games. In those 14 games they started, the Steelers went 8-6. And it's like, okay, if you're winning games and you have a winning record with either Mason Rudolph or Duck Hodges as your quarterback, Big Ben is not going to come in here and make this team worse. So he just has to be average. Similar to Phillip Rivers, you don't have to do a lot. Just be average, and this team will be a playoff team. Now, if he's even better than that, this offense is really going to carry. Steelers could be a really formidable threat because I really, again, like their defense. So I'm picking the Steelers. Again, Big Ben just has to stay healthy. Just has to not suck. And the Steelers will be a playoff team. And finally, this is honestly the toughest decision I had to make here. I'm not a fan of this pick. I honestly already regret it. But when I look at the rest of the AFC, there's no other team I can honestly put in there ahead of this team and feel confident about. And that's the Texans. And I boiled it down to one reason why I'm picking the Texans to make the playoffs. I boiled it down to even two words. One name, Deshaun Watson. I hate this roster. Right? We talked about some of the picks, the Steelers, the Colts, the Bills. Talked about how great of a roster that they have. And the biggest question mark is at the quarterback position. Because the roster is so well built, so strong at many different places, you don't have the quarterback do a lot in order to win. That's the complete opposite here in Houston. Deshaun Watson is the only guarantee on this offense and really on this whole team. So he has continued to get the job done. I think his job's already going to get a lot harder, obviously with the loss of DeAndre Hopkins. But I'm going to trust in this scenario the best player left to make a run, to put the team on his back, and get the Texans at least to the promised land, which is the playoffs. Because when you look at other teams, other possibilities I considered, New England, it just comes down to, honestly, I don't trust Cam Newton to stay healthy. I really don't. The opt-outs on defense, I think, are going to come back to bite the Patriots a little bit here. But I just don't trust Cam to suit up for 16, 15, even 14 games and give this team a legitimate chance to win. The Titans, like I said, when talking about the AFC South, I think they caught lightning in the bottle. I think they will regress this year just because I don't think Ryan Tannehill is the guy. He's not a good enough quarterback to lead your team to the playoffs. And a spunky bunch, you want to say, like the Broncos, like I said, could mirror the Cardinals. A lot of young talent, a lot of hype. But the defensive line injuries. First, Bradley Chubb getting slow to come back from his ACL. Now, unfortunately, Von Miller seems to be out for the year with an ankle injury. Tough blows. Really, really tough blows. I think they're a few years away from really being a good team to where we're talking about them making a real run, but just not this year. A little too young and now a little too hurt by injuries to be a playoff team. So Texans, Steelers, Browns, 3 wild card teams. Chiefs, Colts, Ravens, Bills are your AFC playoff teams.